They don't call me Cheeks for nothing. That's Sandy Cheeks' infamous last words before she shoved a hamburger into her mouth.
A hamburger?
And the glass went into her throat, and she also suffocated.
So if she orders a hamburger from the Krusty Krab, is it wet? Is it like just
technically everything you get there would be wet. I mean, they're all underwater.
You know, when I was really little, I was always under the impression that the secret formula was just that the burger's really soggy, and it tastes really fucking good when they're soggy.
Did you try it?
I've never tried it.
The secret formula is just seawater.
We can try it right now.
The secret formula is just water. All right, so we're going to go get some burgers from McDonald's, come back and put them in water. Austin, can you keep the crowd going?
Yeah, I can do it.
Are they open right now?
I'm going to sit here and talk about the wonderful world of spiders for the next hour and a half.
These episodes are significantly smaller than the podcast I do with Zach, by the way. They're normally like 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes they can be a little longer, but...
All right, so
okay.
Topic.
So it's funny, too, because our good friend Tariq might be coming in at one point, and I don't think he's seen the movie. So we need to get spoilers out of the way right away, because when he comes in, we can't talk about them anymore. Brent's with
Whenever
us.
Tariq walks in, you gotta listen in post-editing. You gotta include like one of those like 70s like clapping and cheering whenever Tariq walks in.
Yes, yeah, I'll do that. Brent, explain the entire plot of Infinity War for us. Go over the characters that died. I don't know why you're making that face.
So the plot of Infinity War. There's a big girthy boy named Thanos.
Yeah,
he comes in.
He's pretty thick.
Yeah, he's pretty thick. Like at least
Extra
4
thick.
C's. He comes
He's like
in.
a whole grimace.
Yeah, he comes into the Marvel universe and he takes that big glove of his and he just starts fisting everyone. But his fist is so girthy that a lot of characters die.
Yeah.
So like,
which characters died? Because like half of them die actually.
Everyone sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Which characters are those, Brent? Brent, can you name more than one Marvel character?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Captain America. Spider-Man.
Brent has not seen this movie.
I have not seen this movie.
This is all the simple ones.
What was
Captain
that?
Pakistan.
What'd you say?
Is that Captain Pakistan?
Yeah, Captain Pakistan. He was in the movie.
Captain Pakistan.
Yeah, it wasn't Thanos that ended up hitting the towers.
Wasn't it very weird when Spider-Man's friend put the Infinity Gauntlet on, like after they defeated Thanos, and then he decided he was going to wipe out half the population?
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He put on the Infinity Gauntlet, and he ended up becoming, the main villain. Thanos was just there to set things up.
He was just there to set things up.
The real villain this whole time was Spider-Man's fat Asian friend.
Yeah, no, like Iron Man, Thor, no, not Thor, Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're all like taking the gauntlet off, but Star-Lord's actually the one who successfully gets it off. Like he's like really the real hero of that scene. And
if it wasn't for Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord.
Nick Pinsack gets it?
Star-Lord, everybody would have been dead.
I knew Nick Pinsack would be an evil man.
Yeah, Nick Pinsack was introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Was he Panda Man?
Damn, I wish I had that.
Apologies to Nick Pinsack. He really wanted to do this one with me, and he did Spider-Man Homecoming with me, but it's taken him too long to see it, and I want to do this now. But Pinsack, you are, and now Brent, the person who hasn't seen the movie, is taking his place.
To be fair, I am about 100 ounces of alcohol into this, so I feel like I'm perfect for a discussion about Marvel, the Marvel universe.
I mean, you should have hit me up. I would have totally. I don't even know. I don't want to know what I would have said if I was drunk and, talking about Infinity War. I'd probably start crying again.
I was tipsy. I'm no longer.
So let's talk serious about this movie. I do want to actually start with spoilers because one, it's a shorter podcast, and two, Tariq is going to get here and he actually wants to see this movie. So essentially what happens is this is a movie that it's about the villain. It's about Thanos, and he probably gets more screen time than any individual character does.
He is an individual character.
Significantly, actually.
That is true.
Is he an individual character?
What do you mean?
Thanos, is he an individual character?
I don't know what that question. Yeah.
No, there's four different
Thanases. Why does he deserve
Thanoses.
any less screen time than any other person.
Well, I'm saying, like,
See, you got the purple
Iron Man
Thanos.
probably technically appears on screen more than Thanos does, but he doesn't appear on screen by himself more than Thanos does. He's always in a group.
Thanos is a strong character.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
just let him be himself, man.
Okay, Brent. This is essentially the Thanos movie, I think. And
no, this is Infinity War.
There's actually a theory going around that said that Thanos was like, the main protagonist and that all the Avengers were the antagonists. Like, this movie was just revolving around Thanos the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Mr. Stark I don't feel good memes.
Yeah, like
Mr. Stark, I don't feel good. Tom Holland says as Thanos' fist is shoved right up his ass.
I really so yeah,
your dig didn't prepare me for this, Mr. Stark.
The thing that is very interesting about this movie, this is a big spoiler to Brent, who doesn't give a shit, which is why he's doing this show with us.
Hey.
But the movie ends with, I really do just want to jump into this territory. I think it's the most significant thing in the film. In the movie, there are a good 4 characters that die who don't die at the very end, and because of that might actually stay dead, and that is Loki, Gamora, Vision, and that one guy from the Thor movies. I'm sorry, I never saw any of the Thor movies, so I don't know his name.
Is it Thor?
No.
I don't remember his name. He was the big dude with the sword that had control of the Bifrost.
Thor was a great character in this movie, though. He was a blast to watch.
Absolutely.
Did he die?
No. Actually, none of the original Avengers die in it.
Oh, Captain America's still alive?
Captain America's still alive. Tony Stark's still alive.
See, I thought he was going to die. I genuinely thought that either Cap or Tony Stark was going to kick the bucket this film.
Me too, because I thought I actually heard that they were like one of them was out of movies. Like they were about to end.
Like I figured it would be Robert Downey Jr. if anything, considering I feel like he's getting tired of all the Marvel contracts at this point.
He probably is, and he hasn't had a legitimate movie for like a long time now, because Iron Man 3 came out, and now it's just he makes appearances in Captain America movies or Spider-Man movies. So like to me, I think that the 4 characters that killed off, I find it I really want Gamora's death to stay canon. And that's not because I dislike the character. I really love the character, actually. It's just, I feel like that adds so much to this movie, and it adds so much to who's like Thanos' character.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Gamora's death was necessary.
I think so, and it adds consequence to the movie. Loki's death adds consequence to the movie, and Gamora's death adds great consequence to the movie. Not so much Vision and the other guy, because I don't think they were anyone's fan favorites. Loki was absolutely a fan favorite.
I'm gonna pitch my 2 cents in on some of the characters that actually did die in the film. Some of the more, noteworthy deaths. Loki, for example. I feel like Loki's gonna stay dead simply because of the impact that it has on Thor's future and his character as a whole. Think about it. He lost basically all of Asgard. He lost his father. Basically killed his sister, his best friend, which was the dude with the sword who controlled the Bifrost. I can't remember his name. And of course, his brother Loki, he watched die right in front of him. The guy's basically got nothing left at that point. And Gamora, it's going to have an effect on Peter Quill, who's Star-Lord in the film, and is going to have an effect on Thanos. Thinking, all right, half the life in the universe is gone. At what cost? And he's still grieving over Gamora.
Guardians 3 is confirmed. And that's one of the things. And they said that the focus is going to be on Gamora, which is why I kind of doubt Gamora is going to stay dead. But I made this point in the comment section of the video. And someone actually made this as an argument. And I think it's a pretty decent argument. Yeah, the movie focuses on Gamora, but it could be focused on them dealing with the loss of Gamora. Now, do I think they do that? No, I don't think they will. I really do think Gamora is coming back to life. I think it's going to piss me off, and I really don't think they're writing Gamora out. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I think Gamora's coming back, though.
Gamora is a fantastic character.
And I think the way they killed her off was so perfect and so meaningful, and it's like one of the most impactful. It's kind of corny the way they kill Gamora off, like the music and everything, but I still loved it. It was still a great scene. I'm surprised by how much I liked Infinity War, because I'm not a huge Marvel fan. Like I kind of even already stated I haven't seen any of the Thor movies. Ragnarok looks kind of fun. I might check that out eventually. Doctor Strange,
Ragnarok was probably the best Thor movie in the series.
Black Panther, I have to.
I watched that one.
Did you like Black Panther?
It was weird, dude.
It was weird.
I honestly, the only Marvel movie that I have not seen to date is Black Panther. Part of the reason was, I was just really, really busy, with finals at the time they came out. And it was just whatever.
People keep telling me, I hear some people say it's another Marvel movie and there's nothing interesting about it, and then I hear some people say it's the best superhero movie ever made, so I'll check it out.
Were those people black?
No.
Surprising.
Only one of them was.
Were they Panthers?
Well, Zachary...
Did Panthers say that it was interesting?
What?
Did Panthers say it was interesting?
Which Panther?
Yeah.
What?
Panthers,
how many Panthers went to go see the movie?
I don't know. Maybe.
So one black person said it was. No actual Panthers.
It was
I think that's actually kind of cultural.
Panther.
I think that's kind of cultural appropriation of the Panther Society.
Well, all Panthers are black.
I don't think Panthers even exist.
But they're also animals.
Is it Panthers that don't exist, or is it Jaguars?
My face is not
Panthers are black jaguars.
My face is not your goddamn superhero mask.
I wonder how many Jaguars went to go see the film. Not Jaguars, but Panthers.
I want to see Black Panther, though. I mean, it looks interesting.
It gets weird really fast.
In a good way.
I heard the villain's really cool.
There's like an African country that's like third world, but not really.
It's Wakanda, I know that much.
It's
that's
third
a big part
world
of Infinity War.
But it's not. It's like super advanced because of vibranium.
I really love the character, by the way, because he was in Civil War, which I saw, and he was one of the better parts of Civil War. Because I think, aside from that airport scene, Civil War is kind of a boring movie.
It was a good introduction to his character.
But he was one of the more likable characters. Like, I mean, I think that Civil War is kind of dumb. I mean, I think most Marvel movies are kind of dumb, though. But like,
I liked the plot of Civil War, but I don't like what they did with Zemo's character. Speaking of, Captain America movies, how about that appearance of Red Skull in the film?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Red Skull on the one planet with the Soul Stone.
I haven't seen the first Captain America movie, but I knew who Red Skull was, and I knew he was the villain of the first. He's technically, going off the timeline, the first Marvel villain, and I actually was really shocked by that. That was like, because I kept thinking there's going to be at least...
technically...
I kept thinking there was going to be at least one surprise villain. I know he's not the first villain because Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, all of those came out before Captain America.
Well, in Captain America First Avenger, he had the Tesseract in hand, and it ended up transporting him somewhere in space. And, we haven't heard or seen anything of Red Skull, and basically wondered if he was swept under the rug like a bunch of other Marvel villains in the past. But it was impressive. The
makeup looked a lot better,
to see him put in the film as just some type of weird kind of like gatekeeper to the Soul Stone, explaining, how they can obtain it and why it's really not worth it in the end, even though it doesn't really matter. I honestly thought that he was going to be Death at first glance. Mm-hmm. Because in the comics,
I thought that was a really
cool. Just in love with Lady Death.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So I guess we should talk about all the other deaths, the characters that are clearly going to come back because most of them have sequels lined up. Like, it seems that every single character that was introduced outside of Phase 1 dies, and like every single original Avenger is still alive. And part of me thinks that's because Infinity War Part 2 is going to be a conclusion for most of them. I think that they're giving them like a main part because I think that we're kind of getting to the point where we're going to be done with Thor movies and done with Captain America and done with Iron Man. They all kind of got their trilogy. I could be wrong about that. And I heard they were going to do more stuff with the Hulk. Like I heard there was going to be like this Planet Hulk series, but I don't know if it got canceled or not.
The Planet Hulk
all the original Avengers
storyline actually got touched up on in Ragnarok. It was kind of like a two-parter sort of deal. The Planet Hulk storyline is, he gets transported to a planet and he's fighting in these like gladiator style arenas. I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't go back and touch up on that storyline from Ragnarok, but I feel like they did good justice to the Planet Hulk storyline.
My knowledge of what happens to the Hulk, keeping in mind that there's so many different timelines and universes that these stories are told with him, is one where the Hulk is sent to another planet by Tony Stark, and then that planet is attacked, and then he comes back and tries to like murder every single one of the Avengers. Not murder, but attack them and like really fuck them up. But I don't know if that's the same storyline. I don't know a lot about comics. But I think every time I say that there's potential for an interesting Hulk movie, I get laughed at because of how stupid of an idea the Hulk kind of is. But I don't know. I think that's just... I've always kind of liked that concept. I've always thought there was something to do with that. I've seen like some of the really fucked up shit they've done with the Hulk in the comics, where like to a point where Bruce Banner and the Hulk aren't even the same person, which is something I think they're really starting to touch up on in Infinity War. Maybe they did that in Ragnarok too. I don't know, but it's I feel like Bruce really not being able to control this, and there just being this massive green guy that he can't do anything about that is going to like affect his life so badly. I think that's interesting. I think that you could do something interesting with the Hulk's character.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In a dumb, fun kind of way. Obviously, it's not something you're going to take super seriously, but I've always thought it was an interesting concept from when I was a kid to now.
Totes my goats.
Yep.
But how about the end credit scene? If you stayed for that,
that was cool. Samuel L. Jackson almost
leading up to Captain Marvel, which is going to be really cool.
I'm gonna watch Captain Marvel. Yeah,
she's arguably one of the most powerful heroes, and I really hope that they. I'm certain that they will too. But in the next Avengers film, they'll have Hawkeye and Ant-Man in the film.
Oh, I'm sure they will be. I heard that they're adding a bunch of characters to the second Infinity War, as if this one didn't have enough. But I actually do think they did a good job balancing them out.
I can see it happening.
Really, the only character I can think of who didn't have their one moment in the movie is Mantis, and that's not a bad thing at all, because Mantis is a very new and minor character to begin with. But it feels like every single character had their, like, even if it was brief, like Groot becoming part of Thor's axe. Like, it felt like every character kind of had their staple in the movie. I think Mantis is the only one that really... Because even Drax has that one comedic scene that some people really loved that I really hated, but,
Mantis was just there.
The scene where he's acting like he's invisible. Like, that's something that Drax had. That's a scene that he had dedicated to himself. Right. And he also had him trying to attack Thanos, which I thought was kind of cool. It was kind of like coming face to face with, like, his entire motivation from the first movie. Are you okay, Brent? Yo. Brent?
I think he just phased out of existence.
Are you okay? He's not responding to me.
Maybe Thanos actually did it.
I hope he's okay.
Maybe he's just like phased out of existence.
Phased out of existence. He turned to dust.
Yeah. Turned to dust and just... Oh, wait, he's still there.
He either can't hear me. Can you hear him coughing?
I can.
So let's talk about those characters. Like I was saying before, it seems like any character introduced after Phase 1 went away. Like, Black Panther went away, Spider-Man went away, all the Guardians of the Galaxy, except for Rocket. Rocket is the one exception there. Go away.
Rocket's like the only one left at that point.
Yeah.
That's Jesus, man. That's going to be interesting for his character development in the next film. Not only losing Groot, but losing all of the Guardians. Just going solo at that point, even though I'm pretty sure he's going to stick around with Thor and them.
Yeah, Doctor Strange left. I think Rocket, aside from like side characters, Rocket is the only post-Phase 1 character of like main characters that's still around.
That's stuck around, yeah.
Unless if Ant-Man's alive, and we just don't know because he wasn't in the movie.
I think he is, just because, he wasn't used, and it could lead up to, the characters being used in Avengers 4, sort of bringing things back to order. But there's one thing I want to touch base on that I don't see a lot of people talking about the film, was when Doctor Strange, when the group was on the planet Titan, he was using the Time Stone to look into all of the possible realities in the future. He saw like 14 million something, and he said there was only one in which they actually succeeded. So, going back in the movie, when Doctor Strange told Tony Stark, when it comes between him or Spider-Man, he'd much rather protect the Time Stone at all costs. So my theory here is that Doctor Strange viewed that reality where, they did succeed and understood that he would have to give up the time stone and that he would die.
Oh yeah.
Sort of.
I think he saw, like, basically a lot of people are saying this, and I kind of agree it's probably what's going on. It's just he saw the future where they want, and Tony Stark was probably involved in it.
Right. So I just feel like everything that happened in the movie is just leading up to some type of redemption and salvation for the events that did happen. Not just for almost every character, but for maybe even Thanos. Probably not. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I think, Tony Stark, for redemption for Tony Stark, that'd be a big one, because, he clearly has a lot of guilt, as shown in Civil War.
His character has gotten really dark over the past couple of years.
Oh yeah, and fucking Spider-Man's scene didn't help. A lot of people question why he says sorry at the end of the movie when he collapses to the ground. And I think it's kind of just... I don't know, I think I'm overthinking it, but every time I think of that scene, I just kind of imagine it as him saying sorry for, you probably feel like a real piece of shit right now. Because he's started crawling on him and crying and saying, I don't want to go. And then he kind of falls to the ground, and that's the pain he's feeling is about to go away, but Tony Stark, you just watch that happen. He's living with that guilt. That's something he gets to live with now.
Yeah, that is brutal.
That was a sad scene. That's what I love about this movie, because obviously a lot of the darker scenes in the end are just going to be taken right back.
Definitely.
But at the same, obviously it's going to be undone in the next Avengers movie. But you still see Spider-Man as a young guy die. You still see this kid die and beg for his life before he dies.
That's a normal afternoon for me.
Yeah. We were talking, Spider-Man does die in Infinity War.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Mr. Parker, I don't feel so good.
Black Panther goes. And to me, I was thinking when all the characters were fading, okay, next movie it's going to be Spider-Man and Iron Man dying each movie. It's funny how people reacted to it in my theater, because people kind of were when Doctor Strange faded away, everyone was kind of shocked by that. But then when Spider-Man, after that, I don't feel so good. It's just I think after Doctor Strange, everyone kind of was aware of what was happening. Tony Stark is the only one on this planet, aside from the robot girl, I forget her name, that all of them are dying except for Tony Stark. Back on Earth, mm-hmm. It's I think that just adds so much to how fucked up Tony Stark's situation is too, because back on Earth, a good chunk of the characters die, but a good chunk of them are still alive too. Where Tony Stark is, every single one of them die but him. Again, except for the robot person, who I'm not even sure could die, because I don't think she's human. I don't know much. I don't know. What's her deal again? I know she's Gamora's sister.
Nebula?
What?
Her name is Nebula.
Nebula, that's right.
Yeah.
She, I think out of all the Guardians characters, she has made the smallest impression on me. I don't hate her or anything, but in the first movie, I remember nothing about her. In the second movie, she's more there to make Gamora's storyline more interesting.
I like from the Guardians of the Galaxy that they're all space spoopy people, and they're like, hey, let's escape from jail. And
let's escape from jail.
Suddenly be heroes.
Oh, Chris Pratt's doing the fishing rod thing. He's flipping them off. That's funny. Oh! Well, Drax is... I really hate what they do with Drax. I know so many people love that character, so... You're wrong, but anyways.
Drax is awesome.
The thing is, I love him in the first movie because I think all of his humor comes from how oblivious he is, and then in Guardians 2, he's so self-aware. He's just super self-aware of everything going on. He's just constantly laughing at everyone's misfortune, and I found that very irritating. And then in Infinity War, he goes back to being kind of oblivious, and I like that. But at the same time, that invisible scene goes on so long, and everyone in the theater is just laughing their asses off, and I'm just not at all. Are you giving my dog a treat? Did I give you permission to feed the dog?
I made her sit.
I really liked this movie because I feel like it is one of a kind. I think that it is the only superhero movie ever to have this many fucking characters in it, with each of them having their own movie.
Sit.
and a villain that is the main focus of the movie, and a movie that obviously is going to be undone eventually. I know it's not going to end this way.
They're going to go back in time.
But it's still a movie where a villain wins, and it cuts to like these credits that, like, even the credits aren't stylized, just black background, white text. And it's just, I love that it ends with Thanos just kind of like sitting on that porch, looking at what he did, and just kind of smiling at it, like,
while he murdered half the universe.
A lot of people say they don't understand Thanos' motivation at all, and I agree. It's if he actually believes it's going to fix all the problems, then that's stupid. But I mean, you know, like,
hey man,
I don't.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with a good genocide.
Though it's not
Trust me.
It's not genocide because it's not focused on one specific group of people. It's just killing half the people. Yeah. But it only kills half of them.
That's fine. It's still genocide.
It's genocide if you kill all of them.
It's not it's if you try to kill all of them.
He doesn't try to kill all of them.
He should.
He's just trying to kill half of
them.
He should. Where's Tariq?
All right, Astan.
So, okay.
No, I have a question for Astan.
What's the question, boy?
From every single death, which one surprised you the most?
At least that's a good question.
Surprised me the most?
Which either surprised you or gave you a little bit of a hard on because, you know, you hated the character. While Mike rubs his boobs. Oh, God.
I was masturbating furiously in the back of the theater the whole time they turned to dust. I'd have to say the one that shocked me the most. Oh, God. I really don't know, because I came into that theater expecting everybody to die.
That's me every time I go into a movie theater ever since the Aurora shooting happened, to be honest.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God. Oh, my God. No.
That was amazing.
Holy shit. I'm
sorry, I drink a lot of alcohol tonight.
The one that surprised me the most was Gamora, because I don't know, I keep saying I'm really stuck between whether she's going to come back or not. If her death sticks, then it's Gamora, because that's like a pretty risky character to kill off, I think. Yeah, Loki, not as much, because he had so many movies. Gamora's only been in 2 so far. And it feels like there's a lot more they could have done with her, but they still killed her, so I feel like it's a bigger risk. Loki's arc kind of completely concluded. I mean, so did Gamora's. A big part of her story arc was her relationship with Thanos.
Right.
What about you? Any idea, Austin?
Personally, I think the most shocking one was Gamora. After that, maybe the Black Panther. Part of me expected him to just kind of make it out.
I really thought he would make it out, just because it seemed that seems like a really big risk to start the next movie off without Black Panther being there.
I don't imagine all the black people getting mad that he died.
But I'm sorry.
Hey. All right, we're going to finally give you a black superhero, but we are going to kill him off in Infinity War.
But don't worry. We're going to go back in time like nothing ever happened, and all the strong superheroes are going to kill him.
We're going to bring them all back, and Black Panther can be in like the last 5 minutes, all right?
Yeah, I guess he's there for racial diversity, so we're going to get
I guess.
Black people are there. He was a very key part of the story. Remember that one time he died?
You know what's going to be the next groundbreaking thing to do in a cinematic universe? Have 2 black superheroes.
Fuck. One of them's going to be called Black Cheetah. Whoa.
Black Cheetah.
Wait, Black Jaguar. Because it's just Black Panther, but the same animal.
The costume is very similar.
You can just see spots on it.
There's just like some spots painted on.
It's going to be the same costume. There's going to be like some spots painted on, so that way it's very noticeable. It's also going to be tan.
Yo, this next movie's just going to be about a whole bunch of furries trying to replace the Black Panther.
I feel like the next movie should be about going to a furry convention to find the replacement of the Black Panther. Yeah. But then the next movie after that will be about like one of them actually replacing him.
Infinity War Part 2 is just them. It's just Tony Stark and Captain America reuniting, going into a furry convention, wearing furry costumes to disguise themselves.
But it's very clear that who they are because they're still themselves.
Can you imagine for just a second, like, a furry Avengers corpse? Like, it's just like a whole bunch of like Black Panther OCs almost. They're all some type of cat. They're all some type of color. And the main villain is an Asian man looking to eat all of them.
I just like the so when the characters disintegrate, they disintegrate. Their clothes disintegrated with them.
Yeah.
So the same thing would apply to costumes. So I just like the idea of a furry convention going on during the time the fingers will snap, and then just a bunch of furries start to fade away to dust. But like other furries like react to their fellow brethrens being turned to dust.
Right.
If the clothes didn't go away with them, I think it'd be even funnier because you just have these fur suits collapse into the ground.
Oh yeah.
No, I think it'd be good to see the furries like drift away.
I think it'd be funnier to see the fur suits like slowly collapse one by one.
Nah, man. To be a furry, that means the furry suit is a part of you.
Part of you. It's part of who you are.
Exactly, like the costumes of the superheroes, part of who they are. So that way you just see like a little fox man drift away into eternity. Slowly, his ears start to fade away. So that way you can say, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Then you see the ears start to fade away.
Yeah.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
I need more PBR.
I don't feel so good, Moonwolf.
All right, so any final thoughts, Austin? Anything else you want to talk about with it?
Can't believe Batman died.
What? Oh, I have an idea, actually. All right, so us three, would we, in the Infinity War universe, would we fade to dust or would we be alive? What do you think, Austin? Out of us three?
I'd be dead.
Oh.
I hope I would be alive so that way I can suck Thanos' big girthy cock enough.
That's
but
how
then whenever, they go back in time, none of that would happen, so it wouldn't be gay.
All right.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Austin, I want your prediction on all three of us, like who would turn to dust and who wouldn't. Not even what you want, just what you believe would happen. I know there's nothing. I know there's literally nothing to base this off of, but just do it.
I feel like I would. I don't know why. I just feel like I would.
What about me?
I feel
do you
like
think you would get
die.
that lucky, Austin?
I feel like you would die choking on Grimace's purple cock.
Yeah, but whenever he go back in time, I won't be gay.
But he didn't turn to dust. He just died.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That means I'm dead for good.
It doesn't matter if you're dead. You're gay. You may as well be dead.
Yeah, but if you go back in time and I never choke on his girthy cock,
what about me?
I won't be gay.
Do I turn to dust, guys?
Yes.
Oh. Do I turn to dust, Austin?
Well, you don't turn to dust. It's just he sees you and then he just chokes you with those big, meaty arms.
Yeah.
You just feel so bad for
big, meaty claw.
All right, would you guys fuck Thanos?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Dude, I want to feel his, weird chin against my nutsack immediately.
Yeah, let me show you a little picture.
I know what he looks like. He looks like that one guy from Pawn Stars.
He does a little bit, actually, especially
Rick
in the
Harrison?
movie. I want to show you this picture. It's a Patrick, and he looks like Thanos.
Oh, dude, if that was the movie, can we make a not Star Wars, but a SpongeBob version of that?
Can we make a little fan edit where it's just Thanos is replaced with Patrick, that Patrick version of Thanos?
Yeah, but then everyone dies, and then he just kind of floats around all of the sea.
I think the Patrick version of Thanos is an appropriate image for the thumbnail because of how ridiculous this podcast was. Okay, so Austin, I'm sorry. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about? We can still go on for a little longer. Or we can end it now. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the movie? Anything specific?
I can't think of anything. I was pretty.
What would you rank it on a 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I'd probably rank it about in probably like a 9.
Oh, cool.
I really liked it. I've always liked Marvel movies, so.
I like a lot of Marvel movies. A lot of them I haven't seen. A couple of them I've really disliked. I think the last year has been a really good year for Marvel because I really enjoyed Homecoming. I really enjoyed Guardians 2. And Infinity War was really good too. And everyone praises the hell out of Black Panther, so I'm going to check it out.
Wakanda.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's going to be on Netflix sooner or later because they do eventually put the Marvel movies on Netflix.
Definitely will.
But Infinity War... I liked it. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. Which is good, by the way. It's not a lot of people say 7 out of 10 means it's an average movie, but no, it's stupid. 5 out of 10 is average. A 7 out of 10 is good. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a huge fan of Marvel, but I can admit they're very competent films, and I can also admit that unlike certain cinematic universes, aka all of them except Marvel, they actually take time to plan things out. Even with Star Wars, I don't think they're properly planning things out.
Excuse me, with the 7th movie being exactly like the 4th movie, and then the 8th movie being like, whoa, we're too similar to the last one was too similar. Let's make it weird. So everyone dies except for 5 people. I'm like, no, that's fine. That's a rebellion.
Infinity War, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought that I thought it was going to be a big clusterfuck because of how many characters are in it. But by focusing on Thanos, I really think they made it work.
Well, when you kill everyone, I guess you don't have to focus on them.
Just use the small characters you have now, Marvel. Just give Iron Man 20 more sequels.
Iron Man 20, Revenge of the Sith. Is this the entire movie of Revenge of the Sith with Iron Man replaces Anakin?
Iron Man 20. Iron Man versus Iron Man with a blue suit.
But it's actually Robert Downey Jr. as a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, coming back from the past saying...
But it's actually the same him. It's like, I'm you from 5 minutes ago. You just killed the world. I'm here to stop you.
I guess Robert Downey Jr. would be in his 70s by Iron Man 20. Thank you for listening to DeRailed Podcast. Austin, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Brent, thank you for joining me.
Well, I'm here. I have nothing to do.
And that's all. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I hope you all get cancer.